welcome to our Sports Open event this afternoon. We hope you get some information from us. The idea is that you'll ask us some questions and we'll have a chat and then we'll go from there. Joining us, we've got lots of different course directors, so feel free to ask any question you have about all of our different sport provisions. As a department, we're graded as an outstanding department. We're continually growing and we're continually looking at trying to improve, and essentially we want to be the best department in the region. So my name's Anthony Harvey and I'm the head of the sports department. Joining us, we've got Chris Steele, who is the course director of our Level 3 Sport and Exercise Science programme. We've got Joseph Yaxley, who is our course director of our Football Development and Performance programme. We've got Ryan Taylor, who is our course director of our Working in Sport and the Fitness industries. Phil Lambert, who is our course director of our Level 2 provisions. Richard Wilkins, who is the course director of our sports development and coaching. And then we have Ben Chenery, who is our head of football, who will be here to answer questions about our football academies and our sports academies. So what we'll do, we'll go around to the team. They can talk a little bit about their programs, give you a bit of information about those, and then we'll start answering some questions. So Joe, would you like to talk about your football program quickly?
Yeah, sure. So this year we've obviously sparked up a new partnership with Bury Town and Colford School. So we're looking to deliver the course at Colford School. It's a level 3 BTech in sports coaching development. And that's a 3A level course, and that will run over 2 years. You need 4 4s, and we look to have either maths or English. And then obviously that course then looks at the football industry, how the football industry works, and then obviously all your units are based around the football industry and how that can link to then maybe a job in the future or university or a scholarship in America. And then obviously then you have a playing program, which probably Ben will probably speak more about when he talks about the football, but we have a playing program where we train with Colford and at Colford School, and obviously with Bury Town. And then obviously then we've got matches on a Wednesday, which are linked to Category 1 and Category 2. And then obviously the course is then linked between education and football.
So then, Chris, could you just talk about your sport and exercise science programme just quickly for us, please?
Yeah, just a quick overview in terms of what the sport and exercise science pathway is about. It's a 2-year programme. It's also the equivalent of 3A levels, just like Joe Yaxley said for his programme. We require 5 grade 5s to get onto this programme, mainly because the assessment's a little bit different from our other vocational programmes in terms of exam-based provision there, and it's also internal assessments as well. Range of different topics that you guys will study, ranging from functional anatomy, specialised fitness training, sport and exercise psychology, and you'll also be looking at conducting research as well, looking at how to do research and then conducting your own research through the programme. So it's very much an academic programme, but we do try and embed as much practical as we can to back up the theory as well.
Brilliant, thank you. I have just seen a question just come through, which I will direct over to Richard Wilkins. So the question here is, which is the right course for me to apply to become a coach? So Richard, if you can answer this way, just talk a bit about your level 3 programme for me, please.
Yeah, I'm course director of the coaching and development course. It's a level 3 course. Much like the football course, you require 4 GCSEs at grade 4. It's a 2-year course. It's equivalent to 3 A-levels. So if you're looking to go into employment or you're looking to go to university and study coaching or any other pathway that this course will lead you to, if you are keen on your coaching, we do 4 hours of coaching in the first year and 4 hours of coaching in the second year, amongst a series of other units. So if you are looking to get into the coaching field, I believe that this will be a perfect course for you.
Brilliant, thanks Richard. So next question we've got about, can you join on a level 3 course straight away, or do we need to start on a level 2 provision? So as Richard just alluded to then, there are entry requirements, and we do have different entry requirements for our different programs. So you've just heard Chris talk about our level 3 sport and exercise science pathway. That requires 5 5s at GCSE, and these have to include maths and English. So it's 5 5s. If you achieve 5 5s at GCSE, including maths and English, you can go straight onto our level 3 sport and exercise science pathway. Level 3 sports development and coaching pathway is 4 4s. And that applies for our brand new Berrytown Academy provision. So our football performance and excellence program that Joe just spoke about, that requires 4 4s as well. So it's just, if we're just looking at the entry requirements, if you gain the entry requirements for our different level 3 provisions, you can come straight onto a level 3 course. Failing that, we then do have our level 2 programs as well. Ryan, would you just like to have a quick chat about your level 3 working in sport and then discuss the entry requirements for that program for us, please?
Yeah, of course I can. So I'm obviously the course director of the working in sport and the fitness industry course we currently run at the college. It's a year-long course. Currently we're reviewing that at the moment. The entry requirements for that are also 4 4s. We have changed that entry requirement for this year. The course is very unique because it's similar to obviously the courses we've just spoken about previously, but this course is about getting students out into employment. We have a key partner at the moment, which is Premier Sport, and they are taking our students into placement into schools to do coaching, to observe, to also shadow their coaches, and the opportunity with them to obviously gain extra qualifications. We've also hopefully got the plan of doing a personal training gym instructor's qualification, and that's going ahead hopefully as of obviously after COVID. But the course again is only a year long, but then he has the option for students to progress onto a year 2 currently for the coaching development course, which Richard currently just spoke about, and the year-long course is equivalent to an A-level and a half.
Brilliant, thank you, Ryan. And we're looking at maths and English, and we have mentioned maths and English quite a bit as we've gone through. So all of our maths and English is embedded into all of our different provisions, and maths and English is embedded into our timetables. If you don't quite achieve your grades 4 at maths and English, you will be required to resit them whilst you're here with us. If you do achieve your maths and English, you'll be in a session called directed study, which will be support on working on your assessments, working on your program, or it would be some vocational element alongside it where we develop you vocationally. That's inbuilt into your timetable, so we'd expect you, and that is a condition of you being a part of your program, that you do complete and you do resit your maths and English. It's incredibly important that you have these. If we're looking at, we want you to be vocationally relevant, we want you to be marketable as you leave us once you've completed your provisions. So by having grades 4 in maths and English and the equivalencies, you essentially do become much more marketable, become much more vocationally relevant. Phil, can you just talk about your level 2 programs quickly for me, please?
Yeah, I'm course director for the level 2 programs. We currently have 2 level 2 programs. We have our NCFE level 2 diploma in sport and leisure, and then we have our level 2 extended certificate BTech award. And basically the key difference is for the BTech, you'll actually sit 2 exams in anatomy and physiology and fitness for exercise and sport. Whereas the NCFE course is all assignment based, but on both courses you're going to be doing a range of really sort of interesting units in anatomy and physiology, in fitness training, in leading, in coaching, as well as looking at injury management and so on. But my main goal really is, once you do your level 2 course with me, is set you up for a level 3 program to prepare you for a level 3 program. So that's sort of my key goal when I'm running my level 2 programs.
Brilliant, thanks, Phil. So the main aim, as Phil's just mentioned, the main aim of us as a department is to look at developing you and allowing you to take that next step. As Phil's mentioned, his main focus is progression onto our level 3 programs. So his curriculum is designed to allow you to progress onto one of our different level 3 programs we have. On our level 3 programs are then designed to help you to progress either vocationally or progress into higher education. So Ryan's spoken a bit about his working in sport and the fitness industries program. That curriculum, the curriculum strategy behind that is that you are ready for the workplace. You do become workplace ready. And Chris is looking at moving directly straight into the workplace or progression into higher education. So we are that all of our provisions are all aimed at moving you on to that next stage and moving that on to that next step. So what is the balance between practical and theory? So we are an academic provision, and as Chris, Joe, and Richard and Ryan actually all did mention that we are looking at our programs are A-level equivalencies. So we are an academic college, we're an academic department, and we pride ourselves on being academics, not just practitioners. So there are elements of practical within the program, but there obviously we are theory based. There is going to be some classroom based elements behind that. That doesn't mean to say that it is all just you just sitting down, being quiet and listening to us talk, where the lessons are active, they're engaging, and you then begin to apply yourself as you go through those. It's not the same as GCSE PE though. So there is not that split. There's not that, it's not 60% practical, 40% theory. We are much more theory based, but we do then apply the practical element side to that. So you're not assessed on how good you are in practical, you're assessed on the application of the theory to that practical element. Are there any sports clubs that I can join? So with this, I'll pass you over to Ben Chenery. So Ben's our head of football, but he's also going to discuss our sports academies in general.
Thank you, Anthony. Hi, good evening. My main focus as the head of football at the college is to deal with the practical elements of sport at the college. So currently we have 3 sporting disciplines which we embed training-wise into the students' timetables, and they are football, which we link with Bury Town Football Club. We have the rugby, which we link with the Bury St Edmunds Rugby Club, and we also have netball, okay, which is provision is at the main site of the college. So within our timetabled weeks, we welcome students to come and join us on our sports academies. Okay, we feel it's a really important part of their journey with us at the college, the practical element. That is always, coaches are fully qualified, are industry relevant, and are currently within industry. So we have various times when they come and do their training, and that leads to competitive games. So in rugby, football, and the netball, there are competitive games throughout the week, predominantly on a Wednesday, which students can compete in. It is all dependent on their academic attendance, of course. We ensure that as long as the students are achieving in terms of attending lessons, behaviour is good, then we welcome them onto the sports pitches. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Ben. So we're looking at, somebody's asked a question about physiotherapy. So how are we looking at progressing into physiotherapy? Which is the best course to go on to that? So we've got all of our different level 3 provisions are the equivalency of 3 A levels. So if you gain a triple distinction star on our BTech programs, that's the equivalency of 3 A stars at A level. So it carries exactly the same UCAS tariff as if you went and sat your A levels. What makes us different to just sitting your A levels is that we are very, very vocationally relevant. And we do push you to go and undertake work experience. We do look at how you're going to progress into the workplace. So if physiotherapy is something that you're interested in, we can work with lots of different physios around to try to gain that work experience, gain that experience so that you can take that onto you when you go to university. Physiotherapy is a very, very popular program. If we're looking at going on to university, it's one of the most popular courses around in higher education. So what we need to do is make sure that your university application stands out above the rest. So we have all these different add-ons that will allow you to apply for these physiotherapy programs. Chris, did you want to talk about your program a bit about physiotherapy and how it could potentially relate?
Yeah, I can do. I'm happy to do so. What the Sport and Exercise Science program gives students is, first of all, without downgrading our other level 3 qualifications that we have, a lot of universities look for a Sport and Exercise Science qualification at level 3 and to progress to do a physiotherapy course. So we've had many students who've progressed from the Sport and Exercise Science qualification to go on to university to study physiotherapy. Sorry. What we need to do is obviously work with students, make sure that they understand the full process of what a physiotherapist is. And like Anthony said, we need to make sure that their application actually stands out due to the high demand of students applying for physiotherapy courses. sport and exercise science course as well, it does have that element of research. So in terms of preparing someone for higher education, in terms of the kind of academic studies and the academic study skills that someone is going to need to be successful at higher education, the sport and exercise science pathway tends to lend itself quite well to that kind of programs.
Thanks, Chris. And whilst you're on, can you just talk about how your course is assessed for me, please? So in terms of the mixture between assessments and exams.
Of course, yeah, I did see that question as well. Yeah, it's like a 60-40 split in total. So around 60% of all assessments are internal. So tutors in college, we as tutors will set assignments and we will mark and grade those assignments. The other 40% are external assessments via exams, basically. So there's 13 modules in total. 2 of those modules over the 2 years, you'll do one exam based on anatomy in year 1 and another exam in year 2 based on physiology. And then there's 2 other types of assessments which are kind of like exams. So there's a psychology, what's called a synoptic assessment in year 1, and a nutrition synoptic assessment in year 2. The key difference between the anatomy and physiology exams and the synoptic exams is the fact that 2 weeks before a student will sit down to actually attempt the paper, the awarding body will tell us basically what's going to be on there, so we can prepare some materials to take into the synoptic assessment with us, and then use that material to have a go at answering all the questions that are presented in front of us. So yeah, 40% external assessment, 60% internal assignments that we will mark in-house.
Cheers, Chris. So we do pride ourselves on being a vocational college, and we are a vocational college, and our main focus, as I keep repeating over and over again, is to allow you to take that next step and to move into either employment, higher education, or onto another one of our programs. Work experience does then become integral to that, and it is important that we do focus and we do push work experience. What we'd like is that when you leave us, employers in the local employers around the region will see West Suffolk College on your CV. Straight away that CV gets picked up and put at the top of the pile, because they know that you're industry ready, you have that industry experience. So one of the questions here is looking at how do we help you find work experience. Work experience has been an essential part of our program for a long while. So we do have links with lots of different local companies, and we have lots of industry links. We haven't You've met some of our teaching staff here and some of our course directors. They're still all actively involved within the industry, so they therefore still have links within the industry. So can you help me find work experience? Yes, we can. We do still expect you to take responsibility for some of that and find some of the work experience that is going to be useful to you and valuable to you. We could put you somewhere that we think might be suitable, but it may not necessarily be as valuable as you had hoped. So we do expect you to help yourselves as well. We will support you. What kind of university courses do most go on to study from? That's a bit of a tough question. Sport as a whole is a massive umbrella. If we're looking at what sport could be, this is huge, and it does encompass lots of different areas. Chris has just spoken about his level 3 sports science program and discussed all of the different units that you've got on that. If we're looking at the specialisms, you could then go to university and specialise in any one of those different units. If we're looking at sports development and coaching, you could then go to university and then specialise in any of those different sections. Commonly, our students apply for a sport and exercise science degree. They apply for a PE teacher's degree, or they'll then specialise in one of like sports nutrition, sports psychology. We do have a large number of students that do apply to university. They apply to some of the best universities in the country. So we have Exeter, Durham, St Mary's, John Moores up in Liverpool. Some of these are the best sports university in the country. St Mary's is probably the best sports performance university in the country. John Moores is one of the best sport and exercise science universities in the country. And they get in because of the grades, because of the work, because of the effort that they've put in. But essentially, if we're looking at moving into sport, the world's your oyster. You can then specialise in a vast majority of different areas. Joe's our level 3 football performance and excellence course director, he did undertake his extended diploma here with us at West Suffolk College, and then he went on to university after that, completed his sports coaching degree at university, and then come back here, undertook his teacher training with us here at West Suffolk College, and he's now employed as a teacher. So the sports courses are wide, the broad, sports a massive umbrella, but it does allow you to redirect your career focus. Ben, would you just like to have a quick chat about the sporting facilities we've got at the college? And we've mentioned a bit about our links with Colford, so for our football performance, we'll be there.
Yeah, of course. So we're on our main campus. We have our own state-of-the-art gym, okay, which everything from treadmills to cable machines to free weights, which you'll be using within your timetable sessions for your practical elements of your various courses. We also have the sports hall that we use for many practical sessions that we take on board, and then from that we also have Bury Rugby Club, which we use for the Bury Academy, for our rugby academy, and then we move into other facilities at Bury Town at Colford School. And at Colford School we have a vast amount of training pitches available. We also have the swimming pool, we have strength and conditioning rooms, we have gymnasiums. So we're very proud and very pleased with the vast range of facilities that we now have at West Suffolk College that we can use for your students throughout your stay with us.
Brilliant, thanks Ben. Yeah, so we utilise what we have locally, and we have links with a lot of local sports facilities, which we do try to engage with. We do use as much as we can. One of these questions here is, do I have an interview? And we always feel like an interview is a bit, sounds very serious, okay? And it sounds a bit of a serious thing for you to turn up to. Essentially, you will, once you apply for us to come here to West Suffolk College, you will be invited to, hopefully, come and see us. If not, we have been communicating with people over online and over the phone, and it's essentially just a two-way communication. Right now, this is a big decision. Do you come to us? Do you go elsewhere? Do you go to sixth form? There are other colleges around that offer sports provisions. We are the best one around, so you could go and have a look at others, but we are the best sport provision around. But where you want to go, the locality of it. So it's not an interview for us to go, are you right for us? Okay, it's also for you to find out whether we're right for you. Okay, I'm more than confident that we have the right courses that can suit anybody to come here, but we need to make sure that the course is the right program for you, for your future needs, for your future focus. Okay, you may say you want to apply for one provision, come in, have a chat with us. You may then decide, well, actually, maybe Ryan's working in sport program might be a good idea because that's slightly more vocational, or you then might want to do one of our other programs. So it will be classed as an interview. However, it's more of a two-way street, two-way communication to make sure this is the right provision, this is the right choice for you, and we can offer what it is that you would like. So can I do extra coaching qualifications? Richard, do you want to have a quick chat about your course, and can we do any additional coaching quals on top?
Yeah, hopefully you will be able to do your FA level 1 football course if you're interested in football, or just want to get some more qualifications to add to your exam results, etc. We'd also like to do some fitness training, and I think that we are looking to do maybe a level 2 in fitness. We've got our own gym, as Ben mentioned, at the college, which we utilise when we can. And also within the rugby, we've done touch rugby as a coaching qualification, as well as the possibility of doing refereeing in both football and rugby. Also within that, Tracy Butcher, who's our netball coach, who's probably the best coach in Suffolk, is also looking to do some netball qualifications maybe next academic year, which will focus on the netball players who want to go into one, coaching or refereeing.
Brilliant. Cheers, Richard. And then Joe, could you just have a quick chat about, because our uniform, and well, it's not necessarily our uniform, like clothing or sports kit?
Yeah, sure. So basically every student will have the opportunity to buy some actual course kit. Now what we run in most of the courses except the football one is a quarter zip and polo top. Now essentially what we do with that is we use that kit for any maybe trips we go on or any specific events that we have within the college. You won't be required to wear it every single day, but and you can sort of wear whatever you want for most days, but when we do go on a trip or we visit somewhere and we want to represent ourselves in the right light, then we have a specific kit. Now that kit comes around about £40 per person. Obviously then it includes a polo top very similar to what some of the staff are wearing, and the quarter zip is actually what Richard's wearing, but it'll be in a blue and darker navy colour. And then for the football programme, we're obviously linking with Bury Town next year, so we're looking to go with Araya, and there'll be a specific training kit pack that we'll be looking to put out online, and that will be a club shop that will then have a training kit pack which will have your basic sort of training tracksuit, t-shirt. Then you'll have like a match day tracksuit, a match day polo, so that again we represent ourselves in the right light and the right standards and representing West Suffolk College and making ourselves look professional, because that's what we want to be when we go into the industry. Look right. If you look right, then you're halfway there sometimes. So that would be important. Just going back to the other kit that all the other students can access, there will also be a club shop for that, so you can order that online, and that will get delivered to your house as well. So there, once you've ordered that, will be delivered to you.
Amazing. Cheers, Joe. How many hours, days a week do we study? So that essentially then depends on the different programs and the different provisions that you apply for. Essentially, what we look at is the vocational delivery. So vocational teaching sessions is probably the equivalency of about 3 days a week. Okay. That includes maths and English, that includes directed study and your vocational delivery, so you're taught lessons. It depends on what course and what program you're on. So Ryan's working in sport provision. We say that's spread out as a 5-day-a-week program because, as he said, we have links with Premier Sport. We'd like you working within primary schools, delivering coaching sessions to primary schools on the days in which you are not in college on your taught college sessions. So that becomes then a 5-day-a-week program. The new Bury Town Football Academy, so the football performance and excellence program, that is a 5-day-a-week program, because that includes your training sessions alongside the taught delivery, as well as the competitive matches on a Wednesday. So how many days a week do we study? We expect you to be in college on your vocational delivery for at least 3 days a week. We still also do then expect you to be putting in almost exactly the same effort as well when you're at home. So whilst it is classed as a full-time program, because we expect you to be working alongside the delivery. So you're not just in college, then expect it to be done. You're going to get your qualification, do some extra reading, do some extra work, gain your work experience alongside your time here when you're at college. What's the difference between the two level 2 courses then, Phil?
Well, basically the key difference is for the BTech level 2, you have to sit 2 exams. So you'll sit an exam in the fitness for sport and exercise unit and the exam in the anatomy and physiology. So in the BTech course, you'll actually have 11 different units and 2 exams, whereas the NCFE course will be 7 units, but they're all going to be assignment based. So all your assessments are going to be based on assignments you'll complete either in college or outside of college and really doing your independent study. But essentially they're both in for 3 days a week, but that is the key difference in terms of delivery. Both courses will gear you up for a level 3 course, but yeah, the fact that you have to do 2 exams in the BTech is the key sort of difference in terms of the delivery.
Brilliant. Cheers, Phil. Do you have any courses that will link to radiography? So essentially, to go and become a radiographer, as you're looking at progressing into higher education and potentially then specialising in medical radiography, we don't necessarily offer a provision that's directly linked to radiography. What we can offer you is the opportunity to progress onto university to then undertake a degree which specialises in radiography. So Chris's sport and exercise science programme would be ideal to progress you, to allow you to go on to higher education, to then study and develop on the radiography side of it, to become a medical radiographer student, because we're focused on the core anatomy, the functional anatomy, etc., that will allow you to focus on that. But as a course, we don't offer a course that's solely focused on radiography.
Can I just chip in a little bit, Anthony?
Yeah.
Right. Just to reaffirm what Anthony just said there about, yes, we don't offer a radiography course, but if you do your research in terms of how to get onto a diagnostic radiography degree, then you will need some kind of either A-levels or a BTech equivalency that has to involve some element of science, and that's where the sport and exercise science course could be your potential stepping stone to get onto that radiography degree. So depends on what you want to study at FE level, at college level, but if you wanted a sporting element to go with it to get you to that radiography degree, then we'll be able to provide that for you. So it all depends on your choices.
Brilliant. Cheers, Chris. Thank you. If we have an apprenticeship, how many days do we do at college? Well, we don't actually offer any sport apprenticeships in our department. So unfortunately, I can't really answer that one right now. We don't offer apprenticeships as a sports department. There are sport apprenticeships out there, and you can undertake sporting apprenticeships quite often in fitness instructor, but they're not something that we run as a department. Is there a mixture of boys and girls? Yes, there are. Yes, we do. We do have a mixture of boys and girls. It's fairly even-ish depending on what course it is that you're applied for, but it's 100% a mixture between boys and girls. Ryan, can you talk about your links a bit more with Premier Sport for me, please, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, of course. So obviously our key partner for the Working in Sport course is Premier Sport. The link there is also to give students the opportunity to understand their core values of the business. So obviously the students go into the schools and do their coaching experiences with the students and their coaches, but also Premier Sport come in to deliver some of their core values, some of their coaching values as well, to help and support the students in engaging in potentially employment with them. As Anthony said before, apprenticeships, there's an opportunity with Premier Sport to gain an apprenticeship after your experience at the college. So yeah, with Premier Sport, they're a key value in terms of our development as a course for working in sport, but not necessarily as well. Going back to when Joe said about the kit element, for the course itself, we have our own specialised kit with Premier Sport as a partnership. And that's a similar price for between £40 to £45, and that's a kit where you'd wear it in the schools when you are coaching and delivering your sessions.
Brilliant, thanks, Ryan. How do you know what course we would want to go on? So on the college website, we do have a list of all of our different sporting provisions. We do have a list of all of our different sports courses. Essentially, at this stage, if you applied for any of our level 3 programs, as I mentioned earlier on, you do get invited in for what's classed as an interview. It's more of an informal two-way conversation, and it's there that we can then decide what course it is you'd like to go on, which course is more suitable for you. We all teach across the provision. So although Chris is the course director for our sports science pathway, he does teach along on all the other different provisions. We do understand what's on the programs. We do understand what's expected of students when they are on the programs. And as we've mentioned before, the big part of this and the big driving force of this is to make people vocationally ready, make sure that people are ready for that next part of the workplace. So the ethos and the underlying stages and steps are key throughout the whole of our department. They are all exactly the same. So how do you know what course you'd want to go on? We'll find out when we have that one-to-one chat, which would be the course which is most suitable for you. Chris, can you just have a quick chat about what you're doing during the current COVID regulations and how we're delivering our provision right now?
Of course, yeah, happy to do so. So obviously we're in lockdown at the moment. So our current provision is all operating virtually, so we are delivering virtual lessons online to our students as it stands. We are still operating like we would do in a classroom, really. So although we are virtually, there's full engagement from the students. So the students are having to constantly answer questions, engage with the tasks that we are doing, and we're looking at a variety of different methods as well. So using we use Microsoft Teams as a platform for the students to engage. We use things like Microsoft Forms, so we can still engage students by using questionnaires, which give us instant responses. We can still do things like Kahoot quizzes, and we've really had to try and be creative, really, with how we actually deliver materials. So we use PowerPoints, for examples. There's still breakout rooms, in virtual breakout rooms, so our students will get together, discuss possible scenarios or content, and then feedback to the tutor, kind of like we would like if we were in the classroom. But instead of me going around a group of tables within the classroom, I can pop into the different breakout rooms and actually have a discussions and get feedback from the students. So we're ultimately delivering lessons as normal, as much as we possibly can, but through this virtual platform at the moment. Obviously, we're all keeping our fingers crossed that we'll get to return back to college and be in the classrooms as we all want to be, but we're trying to be as positive with the current scenario as we possibly can, and still having an engaging experience for the students as it stands.
Brilliant, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so how we're delivering right now is exactly what Chris said. We have to be innovative. We have to think outside the box of our delivery practices and our delivery methods. And we are essentially running college as normal. Okay, nothing's stopped. We've not locked down in lockdown. We've carried on moving. We've carried on working. We've carried on delivering all of our sessions. Before what's happened since Christmas, we were delivering on site, and we were running sessions on site, and they were delivered with social distancing, with strict health and safety measures in place. We are running lateral testing now at the college, so when the college does open, there will be an option to get tested then. Joe, did you just want to have a chat about your course and what we're doing in terms of COVID regulations at the minute for yours?
Yeah, sure. So obviously within the course at the moment, football has halted, but we've done some great things online in terms of being able to keep fitness levels up. We've created a Strava app where the students all join a Strava team, and within that Strava team, we've been really innovative in getting students to be active while obviously the football period has stopped for us. And we've also sent out some challenges for football. We did this the same last year and the same this year, so we've sent out some challenges, whether that's a keep it up challenge or playing the ball against the wall with different parts of your foot, etc. We've just been trying to be innovative in what we've done. And obviously we've been delivering things online, but we've been really effective, especially in my second year. We've done some analysis stuff, and the students have actually presented their own presentations to the group via Teams, which has been fantastic, and it sort of allowed us to allowed them to be more effective later on in life, being able to use Teams and be able to be efficient in what they do when delivering maybe a scouting report, and being able to do it via Teams is something that would be industry ready. So being able to be industry ready like that is actually going to hopefully help them in the long run.
Brilliant. Yeah, cheers, Joe. Thank you. I will come back to this question, because I think it's actually quite important at how we've managed to adapt and how we've managed to keep the ball rolling, how we've managed to keep the courses moving. And we are still delivering a outstanding provision, although we're not delivering on site. And I think that the teaching staff need to be commended on their effort and how innovative they've been with this. One question I'd like Ben to pick up on is, can I play for a different football team, if I'm on the football development programme?
Yeah, good question. Yes, my main focus and the team's main focus in regards to the football programme is to improve footballers individually, firstly, and that has to be a benefit to all the local clubs in the area. So our main focus is coming here for the academic course, enrolling onto the football academy to do the practical side of the football, but more importantly, to send those players back for their current under-18 teams, hopefully better with the amount of training they get per week, 3 scheduled training sessions. So that's our main focus, to work with the local football clubs. We're not if you join us on the academy, it doesn't mean that you have to play for Bury Town, of course not, but there's that option also. But I think our main focus is to make sure that all the surrounding teams, we have Mildenhall, Newmarket, Thetford, Walsham, many teams surrounding us, Stowmarket, Needham. We want to improve those players and send them back to their football clubs better than when they first joined us.
Brilliant, cheers, Ben. Thank you. Yeah, so essentially, again, our football program doesn't change. The ethos behind a football program doesn't change at all compared to our vocational development. We want to develop you, we want to progress you to make you better. Okay, are you going to be better footballers, or are you going to be better academically? This is our whole focus. Richard, can you just have a quick chat, just explain what you're doing in terms of these COVID regulations and how you're still developing and delivering your program?
Yeah, very similar to Joe. Nowadays, there's lots of apps that you can use, and I've got my my students doing running apps, fitness apps, trying to keep them motivated practically as much as we can. And in classroom, as Chris said, we're using different ways of educating the students, different methods. It's new to us a little bit. We did some last year, but we're learning as we go along as well. But on the whole, the students are really enjoying the virtual lessons, because there's nothing else that we can do at the moment. We all want to get back in the classroom. We all want to get back into the practical arena and do things how we feel they should be taught. But I just think that all the staff and there's 3 or 4 other staff that aren't with us today who have done fantastic to keep our provision very high, and the students are very the feedback is unbelievable from the students of how good the lessons have been. So it's a credit to all the teaching staff.
Brilliant, thank you. And whilst we've got you, whilst you are still talking, can you just talk about the AOC sports competitions for us and the opportunity to take part in? Someone's just asked about tennis, so how we could potentially take part in tennis competitions. Yeah,
as Anthony said, and Ben went through the football, the rugby, and the netball. As a college, we do work with the AOC, Association of Colleges, and if you have got a sport that you're very keen on and you play at a good level, there is competitions regionally and nationally that we can put you into. At the moment, we have a very good ladies tennis player who, unfortunately, due to COVID, hasn't been able to represent the East at the Nationals because it's all been called off. But we've had tennis players, cross-country players, badminton players. So if you are good at a certain sport, we will do our best to try to help you with some sporting event that we can do as a college, and hopefully whatever sport you're interested in, there'll be a little niche that we can help you with.
Cheers, Richard. Do we offer BTech sport? So yes, we do. Yes, we do offer BTech sport provisions. So our level 3 sport and exercise science is a BTech level 3 sport and exercise science. The football performance and excellence is a BTech program. The level 3 sports coaching development is a BTech program. Phil mentioned earlier that one of his level 2 programs is a BTech provision. So do we offer BTech sport? Yes, we do. Which one? It depends. It depends essentially which one you're interested in. We offer lots of different BTech sport programs, depending on your focus, your vocational needs, and your career goals. So, does it cover agility, sport performance, the human body and the skeletal system? Yes, we do. And the understanding of human anatomy is essential for. The understanding of human anatomy is essential for any sport provision ultimately. So covering how the body works, how the body functions, and the different components of the body system, that maintains, and we do that for all of our different sports courses. And then alongside that, we will have some practical elements, we'll have some fitness elements, which will essentially look at agility and then your sport performance alongside. So, Ryan, can you just talk about your work in the sport program, how you've managed to adapt during these COVID regulations, how you've managed to adapt your provision here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. So obviously everything's gone virtual. In regards to our main placement provider, Premier Sport, All their lessons are linked onto this application of Teams, so students are still getting that engagement with Premier Sport through virtual lessons. My course itself, all the students are actively doing stuff similar to Richard and Joe. So we've again got a Strava group set up. I've planned my group today, every single day of lockdown to do 10,000 steps. They're also doing frequent HIIT workouts off the Joe Wicks YouTube videos, which they're then videoing themselves doing that, and also videoing them up and uploading them onto our program. But yeah, actively the students are still engaging and doing stuff. I'm engaging obviously with them on their 3 days a week of their vocational course. And you know, we're just sharing best practice with each other. The students are also coming with me in extra ideas and things we can do. So as Richard said, you know, the feedback from the students is phenomenal, really, because you know, for them it's a new way of learning, and at the same time is our students are getting the best out of us as tutors, especially for my course itself.
Brilliant. Cheers, Ryan. So what's the difference between A-levels and BTech sport? So this is a question that we often get asked, and the main focus here, if we're looking at it, you can come and do a BTech sport with us here, and every single module is linked to sport. Okay, everything is linked to sport. As Chris mentioned, we've got all of his units that are all linked to sport. Richard's on his level 3 sports coaching and development. They all are focused around sport. Well, you might need a time machine to go back a little bit, but when I'd done my A-levels, okay, I chose PE because I was interested in sport. I chose biology because that linked loosely with PE. I then chose 2 other A-levels that I wasn't particularly interested in, but I just wanted to do 4 A-levels. Okay, at least now, if we're looking at doing the options now to do some of your BTech sport, every single module that you do is linked around something that you're interested in. And if it's linked around something that you're interested in, you're more likely to succeed, and you're more likely to then excel and achieve higher grades if it's what you're interested in, is what you're focusing on, is geared towards that end goal, that long-term goal, what it is that you want to do. Depending on what our different provisions are, our level 3 sport and exercise science program does have exams in. Okay, level 3 sports coaching and development doesn't have exams in. Our level 3 working in sport and the industry does not have exams in. So there's a big difference there between A-levels and our BTech sport provisions, is that you haven't got to rely on, am I going to know the answer to this exam? You haven't got to rely on waiting until August to get your end results. You're in control, you're in charge of your end grade from the moment you walk through that door. You hand your assignments in on time, you achieve distinctions from that first assessment that you hand in all throughout your time here. You know you're going to be getting a distinction overall. You haven't got to rely and have that risk of undertaking and sitting an exam at the end of it. Even the exams on our level 3 sport and exercise science program, Chris said the psychology synoptic, we're told what's going to be in the exam prior to being in it and prior to being sat in the exam. So there is quite a big difference here between A-levels and BTech sport. What about personal training and personal training qualifications? So we are looking at developing our fitness instructor qualifications. Okay, and the level 2 fitness instructor qualifications is a stepping stone to becoming a personal trainer. We are all about your vocational development and developing you as individuals. What we want to do is to make sure that you're industry ready and industry focused before you move into personal training. So as part of Ryan's working in sport and the fitness industry provision, we'll look at self-employment in sport, how to become sufficient at being self-employed. Okay, you have this underlying knowledge before you then move into and then undertake your personal training qualification. Before you do your personal training qualification, you have to have your level 2 provision as well. So we do offer the stepping stones and the right moves to move you into personal training. Where will the lessons take place? Lessons take place at West Suffolk College. Okay, so they take place hopefully they will be taking place at West Suffolk College, and they'll be taking place on site. Joe's football performance and excellence programs, the new Berrytown Academy, the lessons will be taking place at Colford, okay, because they'll be taking place on site at where we're going to be training, or they'll be taking place at Ram Meadow. They'll be taking place at the home of Bury Town. So this is a great vocational experience there, or other lessons will be taking place here at West Suffolk College. Do you have course fees and will they break the bank? No, I think is the answer to that one. There are elements of fees that are included, and Joe mentioned those earlier in terms of our sports kit. Ryan mentioned it earlier in terms of his sports kit alongside Premier Sport. We're looking at about £100-ish for the sports kit. The football performance and excellence of the Bury Town Academy, there may be more. Joe, do you know how much the kit is for the?
Yeah, the kit this year was about £185. So yeah, I'd say in the region of about £200. But then also if you're doing your FA level 1 as a qualification in the first year, then as a cost altogether, it's probably in the region of about £280 for the course over the 2 years.
Okay, cheers, thank you. So if we're looking at course fees, there are elements of course fees. However, there are payment options available as well. The only other cost, and the only other additional cost of that would be if we went on trips. If we went on trips and visits, there may be some additional costs alongside that as well. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with some of these questions. We do offer we do offer a level 2. There is level 2 gym instructor qualification, which is your first step towards becoming a personal trainer. So that is an option. How many 16 to 18s and 19 pluses? We have as a department under us as a sports department, we have just under 200 students. So we have just under 200 students with us as a department. Of those, in terms of looking at 19 pluses, there isn't that many new starts that are 19 plus. There'd only be 19 plus that have been with us for a long period of time. And yes, there is a public services department that runs alongside us at West Suffolk College. So I don't know when they've got their open event, but keep your eyes peeled on the website, and I'm sure public services will have an open event to discuss that. So with sport, can you become a lecturer at uni or an FE lecturer? So Joe, you can take this because that's exactly what you've done and where you've ended up.
Yeah, so like Anthony spoke about earlier, I enrolled on the level 3 sport and exercise programme, done 2 years with the college at West Suffolk College. Many of the people here talking today were my lecturer back then. Obviously then went to university in Wales, studied a football coaching and performance degree, and then I kind of sort of looked at where did I really enjoy my time in study, and I really enjoyed West Suffolk College. So obviously going back there as an FE lecturer, I was lucky to enrol in University of Suffolk, offer a teacher training program there, and then obviously then doing my study and my teacher training program at University of Suffolk at the West Suffolk College campus. I was allowed to do my work experience or my hours of teaching at the college, and then through there obviously I've been able to gain myself a job within FE. But the actual University of Suffolk offer a specific PGCE in further education, so that would put you straight onto the chance of being an FE lecturer.
Sorry, Harv, just on that one as well. In regards to, I've done exactly the same processes as Joseph. I was a student at the college, also studied and taught by some of the lecturers present at the moment. I went up to university in Liverpool to study sports development and management, and then come back just like Joe and done the same PGC course at the college, and obviously now a lecturer also in the sports department. So
the quick answer to that is yes, you can, and yeah. So it is possible, but again, you need to take the work, and you need to put the work in, and there are other options to that, and you need to, if it's something you're interested in, there's no reason why it's not possible. There, again, this question kind of links in a bit with public services. Public services is a separate department to us, but there are elements of sport within that. We don't necessarily teach on those. okay, because we're, like I said, we've got 200 sports students. We have 14 different sports groups. We're fairly busy. So we keep ourselves busy as a department. We have lots going on. We're continually looking at developing, but there are elements of sport within the public services provision. We just don't really we don't teach those as such, but they'll be able to give you some more information on that at the public services open event. So is there any, if you guys got, is any of the course directors, is there anything you want to add? Is there anything you feel like we've missed before we wrap up?
No, I would just from me, Anthony, if I could just say something quickly, please.
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah, just like to make all the students aware that we spoke about the Bury Town Academy being launched in partnership with West Suffolk College and Colford School. There will be some, hopefully soon, if we can get to some sort of normality, we will be holding some open training sessions just to get to know the potential students, and also so you can get to know us as staff. There's lots of information available on the West Suffolk College website. There's also a link on the Bury Town FC Twitter, which will take you onto the page regarding the education, the level 3 performance, and also what the academy entails. And feel free to email myself, which is at the college. That's ben.chenery@wsc.ac.uk, and we look forward to welcoming you all soon. Thank you.
Brilliant. Cheers, Ben. So yeah, essentially, I hope we've managed to answer all of your questions. The world's your oyster. Yes, if you wanted to come and apply for sport, we are the best sports department in the region. We offer the most varied sports courses in the region. We're consistently graded as an outstanding department. I can't see any other reason why you wouldn't want to come here and why you'd want to apply elsewhere. Essentially, you've heard how adaptive and how innovative the teaching staff can be. Okay, anything that's thrown at and we overcome it, and we're still outstanding. So it's a great department. It's West Suffolk College is a great place to come and be. It's a great place to apply to. So I hope we've covered everything we should have done, and we hope you apply and we get to see you soon for one of our interviews and one of our face-to-face enrolments. Thank you.